Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for 173. In this one, for the vacant Muay Thai flyweight title, we have one of the most fascinating matchups in Muay Thai in recent memory, as the Iron Man Rotang takes on Nong-O. Two generations of greatness collide, and about that's more than just for that belt. It could very well be either a passing of the torch or maybe a stubborn refusal to pass it at all. For Rotang, he embodies chaos, intensity, and that forward pressure, a true Muay mat in every sense of the word. For Nong-O, he represents quite the opposite: balance, patience, and a technical purity to him, a classic Muay Femur. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with those, a Muay mat is those pressure-based Muay Thai styles, close, dirty boxing, knees in the clinch, and just constant aggression. A Muay Femur is much more the technical, composed fighters, mostly with their kicks and good with that medium to long range. And plus, you look at the records of these two, understand something. They are a decade apart in age. Rotang, 28, Nong-O, 38. This is their records. Rodtang, 274 and 43. For Nong-O, 267 and 58. They have over 300 fights between them, and they're damn near close to the same number. Nong-O has a bit more at 355, but Rodtang's not that far. It is, good God, the amount of fights these two had. But without further ado, let's break this fight down. So, starting with Rotang, as for Rotang, or sorry, getting to the context of this, for Rotang, there is kind of something to prove for him, as he's dominated the flyweight division in both kickboxing and Muay Thai, and he is a global superstar. He's probably one of the best known Thai fighter in the world, not just for his native of Thailand or Asia, but to us, like Westerners, are very familiar with this man. I mean, he's also fought fucking DJ in a special fight and won. He's a legend. Now understand something. He was the current Muay Thai flyweight champion, but he did not lose that belt in competition. He lost it on the scale. And that is a blemish that fighters like him don't forget. Plus, he's younger, he's hungrier, and now he's not just fighting to reclaim that belt. He's going to kind of reassert his identity as the most feared man in Muay Thai. But he certainly showed that Rotang has not lost his set. I mean, he dominated Jacob Smith in their fight for the belt. And in his most recent fight against Takeru Sagawa, he ran through him over in about a minute and change. Now, for Nong-O, on the other hand, he's one of the sport's true technicians. Even at 38, he's in the twilight of his career, but he ain't done. And he's one of the most decorated fighters in one championship history. And this fight kind of gives him a chance to remind everyone that technique, precision, and composure can outshine the youth and chaos that Rotang brings. In many ways, it's youth versus wisdom, explosiveness versus mastery. And both men have something that the other respects, maybe even fears in this one. Also, if I'm sounding a little more grand than what I normally do, I'm putting great emphasis on this because this is one of the best fights on the card. And, two legends of the sport and of their generation. So, look at that Rotang style first, because everything he does is going to set the pace of this fight. Rotang style is built on pressure, but it's not reckless pressure. A lot of fans see him as kind of a brawler, but it's the furthest thing from it. Rotang's pressure is very calculated. He makes good small shifts, good half steps, a good tight guard to close distance safely, and his ability to stay right outside of range, then explode with elbows and hooks makes him special. You can watch it in many fights. He does those micro shifts, or like little head movements where he just turns right at the moment to where the punch just grazes him, and then he explodes right back with a counter. And he doesn't throw wildly whatsoever. He conditions his opponent. He walks his opponents backwards and gets opponents used to the idea that Rotang is coming forward no matter what. And once their backs hit the ropes, that's when Rotang starts mixing his levels with heavy body shots, sneaky elbows, good ripping knees, eats to the rib. And while Rotang's jab isn't long, but it's purposeful. and he uses it to mask that left hook and body kick he really loves. And as for Rotang's low kick, while they're not as frequent as a fighter, say Nong-O, they're designed to chop you just enough to take away his opponent's ability to pivot off his legs, or sorry, off their legs. But what makes Rodtang dangerous isn't just his toughness. I mean, granted, he might be the most durable fighter I've ever seen across all combat sports. Besides, like, say, Terrence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez. Because I've seen Rodtang take fucking head kicks flush and still be fine. Just shake it off like it's nothing and smile like, hey, let's go. It's like, I've looked at this man's entire record entire like career for the most part, and like, what the fuck does it take to bring this guy down? His chin ain't normal, man. He truly is the Iron Man. But it's not just that toughness. It is Rodtang's rhythm that makes him dangerous, because he fights in good bursts, short, violent, and explosive, and then has good small, and then follows it by those small resets. And that rhythm forces his opponents to fight emotionally, to either rush or retreat. And that's usually when Rodtang lands clean. And against guys like, say, Takeru, he proves that once he finds your timing, his opponents don't last long. But Rodtang, now, for all of his greatness, Rodtang does have some weaknesses to him. He does have openings. When he moves forward, he occasionally squares his stance. That's when his feet are kind of parallel to each other instead of one in front of the other. At which point his body is open. He does tend to slip to his right a lot when he throws the left hook, which means like veterans like Nong-O could possibly line up that right round kick to the body or the ribs. But still, Rodtang's ability to absorb punishment and walk through combinations is unlike anyone right now in the sport. And you can't deter him with one good kick. You have to control him over time. Now, that being said, he's been dropped once, but against Superlek, but you can argue that was more of a slip, or he kind of got pushed down than an actual drop. But, that's a discussion for a different time. For Nong-O, he fights more like a sculptor, if you will. Every movement has intent. He doesn't waste energy. He doesn't chase moments. He creates them. His stance is textbook Muay Thai. Upright, balanced, and designed to read reaction. Where Rotang is chaos in this fight, very similar to the Christian Lee fight that I talked about in my last video, Nong-O thrives in control. What separates Nong-O from most tacticians is his ability to punish mistakes with his precision. His right body kick is probably one of the cleanest in modern Muay Thai. Not just fast, but placed perfectly under the elbow, that sweet spot, right where it fucking hurts. The big thing about me for this fight is, like, I train Muay Thai. I've done so for 4 years now. I'm not going to say I know anything what it's like for these two at the highest level. Not in the slightest. That's not what I want to come across as, nor do I want to come across as arrogant. All I can say is, like, when you fight a technician in, like, say, sparring or in a real match, you are very good at sneaking that kick under your ribs and keep hitting your body like, ugh, it sucks. And you're trying to figure out what are they doing right? That where you can't block it. And that's exactly what Nong-O does. As he can throw without telegraphing his fights, he can fight while retreating, and that weapon alone can dictate the entire rhythm of his fight. Then when it comes to his jab, it's more sharp, disciplined, and meant to disrupt rather than to score damage. And against someone like Rotang, who marches forward or behind tight hands, Nong-O's jab and teep are critical tools in this fight, especially maintain distance. But the question is, can he maintain that distance long enough? Because once Rotang cuts off the ring, Nong-O's back tends to hit the ropes. And that's when he relies on his clinch game. And while Nong-O's clinch is strong, Rotang's explosiveness in tight spaces could make those exchanges dangerous. And at 38, Nong-O's timing and accuracy are so elite, but his reaction time isn't what it once was. And against these younger, faster fighters like, say, John Haggerty, we saw moments where where Nong-O struggled to reset after taking clean shots. And against someone as relentless as Rotang, and that's not a good sign. Still, if Nong-O can survive those opening exchanges, he has tools Rotang rarely faces: patience, good ring control, and the ability to make Rotang miss just enough to frustrate him. Now, how will these two styles kind of intersect? That's the most intriguing part. Rotang will try to force chaos, while Nong-O will try to manufacturer order. So the first 2 rounds are going to be who can dictate the terms of engagement. If Rotang can get Nong-O to back up early, you'll see the Iron Man go to work. Body shots, elbows, relentless pace, and Nong-O can't afford to just cover up and absorb these shots because Rodtang doesn't slow down when he lands, and the more he connects, the more confident he's going to become. But Nong-O isn't helpless here, as he can use short pivots, angle out, and make Rodtang turn into Nong-O's kicks. And if Nong-O can get Rodtang to hesitate even for a second, maybe with a well-timed counter right hand or a teep that stops in mid-step, that could buy Nong-O enough time to reset and frustrate the younger fighter in Rotang. So the key for Nong-O is rhythm disruption. For Rotang, needs rhythm to be effective, and take that away from Rotang and make him miss, make him reset, and Nong-O is going to control the narrative. And while the key for Rotang is quite the opposite, suffocation. Rotang doesn't need to land clean on every exchange. He just needs to keep Nong-O reacting. The more time Nong-O spends defending, the less time he has to think. And eventually, the fight will come down to who can impose their rhythm more consistently. And I think Rotang's durability and volume give him the slight edge. Nong-O can land the prettier shots, but I think Rotang can carry more weight, both visually and physically in this fight. So for my official prediction, I'm going to go with Rotang. I'm going to pick him via late TKO. I think the opening round is going to be tactical. Nong-O is going to test distance, flick out good right body kicks, and try to control the tempo. I think Rotang is going to have to absorb a few shots in this fight, no doubt about it, walk through them. But by the second round, I think Rotang will be able to close the distance, force exchanges, and have Nong-O on the back foot. And then by the later rounds, like 3, 4, and 5, I think Rotang will be able to trap Nong-O against the ropes often enough that fatigue will become a factor. Those body shots onto Rotang do add up. And I think around the mid to late stages, Rotang finds his openings. Short left hook, elbows in the pocket. And I think he can stun Nong-O, if not get a referee stoppage in this one. But not so again, my official prediction, I'm gonna pick Rotang to win via late TKO. Not because Nong-O isn't capable. Absolutely he is. But because Rotang's style demands too much from a 38-year-old body over sustained rounds. The chaos, the pace, the pressure, it's a brutal equation that only youth and resilience can truly solve. Still, no matter how it ends, this fight is going to be a masterclass in contrast. Technique versus tenacity, calm versus fire. And when those two collides, the sport wins. Because we're going to witness is Muay Thai at its purest form. Art meets violence, and respect meets rivalry. But with that being said, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit a like, drop your predictions below, and subscribe for more or calm technical analysis of the fights that matter most. Until next time, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. Stay sharp, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. Take care.